Hi, my name is Karen. I live in Seattle and I have a sister in Columbus who has mental and physical disabilities. Laurel has schizoaffective disorder with paranoia. She's blind and she's oxygen dependent. She has kidney disease and no teeth. Her world is very small. Some of her physical disabilities are the result of the process she went through in the mental health system with inadequate self-care and results of medication. She is completely dependent on her caregiver, and their living situation became increasingly precarious over time. Her partnered caregiver has his own challenges. He lives with schizophrenia. Both were giving signals that more help was needed and then refusing help when it was offered. They could not engage in safety planning and feared all outside influence as a threat. Like everyone else, they want some control over their lives. They have a very small voice in this world, and isolation gives them some autonomy. I think they fear change, but it's impossible for me to really understand what their lives are like, and difficult to know how to be a good sister to somebody whose world is so different from mine. I just try to do my best. Last spring, I saw enough warning signs and decided to intervene. Interfering in their lives was a brutal choice which I had resisted for many years. I tried going through the mental health agency where Laurel has a caseworker. A wellness check was promised, and I have no HIPAA rights, so I can only assume she met the minimum requirements for making her own decisions and refused any additional services. So nothing changed. Over the summer, things got worse for Laurel. Her partner's sister lives in Columbus and helps them with groceries and other things. She and I stay in touch. She realized that Laura was left in bed for much of the day and saw signs of her being neglected and over-controlled by her partner. Leaving her in bed was easier for him and reduced her risk of falling, and controlling her access to the outside world protected their autonomy. Both he and Laura were giving more frequent signals of distress, but always with equivocation. Laura would sneak in a call to the mobile crisis team and turn them away when they arrived. He would say he cannot take care of her, but deny his concerns if an alternative was presented. During our phone calls, she was expressing more frequent suicidal thoughts. Her isolation put her at great risk. A few months after my attempt, I decided to try again. I live a long way from Ohio, and I had to do this by myself. Coronavirus was in full force. I still had no HIPAA rights, and I did not know where to start, but I know about NAMI. I remember the day I called the helpline and Jody Demo Hodkins answered the phone. I finally had an advocate who knew what I should do. She taught me how the mental health system works and advised me to write to agencies in Franklin County, including the NIMH Board, Ohio Mental Health and Addiction Services, and NetCare. She listened and understood me as few people do. She facilitated a process on her home turf that I could not have managed without her help. To her job at NAMI, Jody brings a lifetime of experience in mental health social work and advocacy in various capacities. She also has personal experience as a guardian of her own sister who had mental illness and addiction. She brought all of her wisdom and compassion to my aid. I used her local contacts when I sent emails. She interpreted responses for me with professional insights I did not have. She provided me with the next step every time I hit a barrier. Jody knew when to say the serenity prayer and when to keep pushing, sometimes both at once. She listened to my every concern and validated my feelings. She had compassion for Laurel as well and could imagine things from her perspective. She understood the obstacles I was facing in every direction I turned. Progress was slow and rocky. I gave up again. Then Laurel fell and broke her foot because she was too weak to walk. I heard about this, and when I learned that she received no medical treatment, Jody was informed. She saw this as a clear sign to initiate probate action through NetCare. Laurel was taken to a hospital where her physical and mental health was assessed. She had a court hearing, and it was determined that she should not return to where she was living. She needed a guardian. I applied, and of course, Jody is helping me step through the guardianship process. NAMI is a place where individuals and families can be heard. They educate and advocate for people whose loved ones have mental illness. NAMI helps people navigate a very complex and frustrating mental health system and provides resources for families that are difficult to find anywhere else. They are a life raft for people in my situation. NAMI helps to keep agencies accountable as they interpret and uphold the laws pertaining to mental illness. It is a place where people understand what it's like to have a family member with mental illness. It is a place where people are receptive when you open up about things that most of society wants to ignore. Many people with mental illness are homeless. They are in prisons. They are in the shadows of our society. They are misunderstood and undervalued. They are hopeless and helpless. They are unseen. NAMI helps to shed light on this reality, to educate the communities in which they serve, and to acknowledge what this reality means to families who are defined by it. I work as a volunteer phone worker on a crisis line in Seattle, and I look for every opportunity to connect people with our local NAMI. I always hope they will receive the kind of help I was given when I called NAMI Ohio. Thank you.